Hey, welcome back to another episode on our new series, Pro Tips to Live a Dynamic Lifestyle. If you're new to this show, you definitely want to stay for this because we're dropping them every single day and we're giving you guys tips from literally experts and legit pro tips on how to live a dynamic lifestyle, especially in this pandemic and new circumstances and landscape that we're facing. So if you're interested, make sure to subscribe below. Other than that, get ready for this next one.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode on our Pro Tips series on how to live a dynamic lifestyle through the pandemic. So we got the man, Jay Ferruggia here. How you doing, man?
Great.
And you were telling us a little bit about the Santa Monica area, just like the beaches are starting to loosen up and you see some people out there. So that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's been a while.
Right. Yeah. Just definitely some interesting times, man. So yeah, let's kick this off and appreciate your time. So I want to ask like how you're doing personally, just with all this going on, how you've kind of adapted to it. And then more importantly too, like, what are like some good tips for the listeners that are, struggling through this? What can they do to just be productive, positive, and even reinvent themselves during this time?
Yeah, I've been fine. Honestly, I'm sometimes I feel bad saying that, but I'm completely unaffected. It's like nothing's changed for me. I feel great. I am thriving, happy. So that's my deal. I don't have anything to complain about. I think other people, if you're struggling, I mean, look, if you lost your job or you lost someone close to you, like, that's tough. I have total empathy for that. I don't even know what to say. There's nothing I could say that could help you there. But if you're just someone who's kind of getting down and bummed out about stuff like that, I get. I think everyone's been down. And I'm not going to say that I haven't been down at all for 8 weeks. I'd say that probably there's been maybe 4 or 5 times for 10 minutes at night. Probably like, man, I miss everybody. I miss my friends. I miss life. We're not going to be able to go out for 3, 4, 5, 6 more months and hang out. Or we're not going to concerts. Like, That's a bummer, On a regular basis from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m., I'm just super focused, so I don't have any of those thoughts. And so I would say, same thing I would tell anyone any other time of year or, 5 years ago and 5 years from now, what I would say to people is don't watch news, don't be scrolling through social media. You really got to cultivate like positivity and be really careful, curate what you consume, because you can get yourself bummed out any day, any time just doing that. And going on Facebook and arguing with people and stuff like that. I mean, the reality is none of us are infectious disease specialists. Nobody really knows the answer. Nobody knows what's going on. So to have an argument with your brother-in-law or some guy it's insanity. I mean, it's human nature to read something or see something and be like, oh yeah, I agree with that. Now I'm on that team and I want to defend that team and argue with everybody else. And we've all fallen prey to it. I've done the same thing throughout my life. And like, we have a desire to be right and prove ourselves. And, the desire to be right is what causes people to commit crimes, start wars, end every relationship or ruin relationships that you have. Even just silly arguments with your spouse. Like it's just the desire to be right. So if you can get over the desire to be right, you're always going to be happier. You're always going to have better relationships. And then also I would say, like now, if you're just sitting home alone or just with your spouse or whatever it might be, and you're just thinking, overthinking all day, of course you're going to get bummed out. You're going to get stressed out. You have to be proactive. So if you can't work from home, if you worked for somebody, what can you do? And I don't know, everybody's different, right? Like I'm not going to say like that everybody should be reading 3 books a week and everybody should be learning a new language. There's something that you could probably do that you put off for a while and, maybe take advantage of that, do something. There's probably something that maybe you want to learn an instrument, maybe you want to learn how to paint. There's always skills. Like there are skills that are going to be essential for every human being forever that we should all work on that we all might not have time to work on. So maybe it's, people skills, communication skills. If you're in business, you always want to work on, which everybody's in business, you always want to work on your high income skills. So maybe you can read more stuff and download and buy some courses on sales and closing and copywriting. Because no matter what the business you're in, if you know how to speak, if you know how to sell, if you know how to write, you know how to close, you're always going to be valuable. You'll be indispensable. You'll be able to have a job. You'll be able to create income for yourself. So, look at learning some of those skills. some hobbies, and then helping other people. It's another thing that's just timeless information. If you are always in your own head about how can I do this, how can I do that, me, thinking in the past, oh, I shouldn't have done that, thinking in the future, what should I do? Then you're gonna have depression and anxiety. But if you can live in the moment, be like, okay, who do I know that I can help? Who do I know that I care about? That I can reach out to. A lot of people, maybe you're doing okay. Like I'm doing okay right now. So each day for 8 weeks, I've been reaching out to other people. Certainly at the beginning, the first 3-4 weeks, all the time. Close friends of mine, colleagues, hey man, what are you doing? Like just people who were transferring their business online. Okay, I've been online successfully for almost 20 years now. Let me help you out with some tips and advice and things like that.
Are you a fitness professional looking to create more income, impact, influence, and independence? If so, we actually just dropped our new book, Rise of the Fit Pros, so you guys can be on your way to doing all those things, and you can sit there and build your hyper training model. So if you're interested in getting your copy, make sure to click the book or the link right here, and you guys can grab it. Other than that, make sure to enjoy the rest of the show.
And so I think those are some things to think about.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah, for sure. That's great stuff, man. And I would even say too, I can totally relate about just like, man, like thinking 3 to 5 more months without like hanging out with friends, like going on trips, like going to have a beer, going to a restaurant. It's insanity, man. So I want to go back to like what you said. You had those times like where like for 10 minutes, you just kind of got down. What did you do to kind of just like, reframe your mindset and just like make it look at like a positive and get out of that rut?
Nothing miraculous. So I was just kind of like, I would be down for a little bit because I was watching I'll only allow myself to consume news a few days a week for like 10-15 minutes. And usually it's kind of like the local LA stuff. So I know we're getting out and about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, man, like, bummed out. But just like any time when I get bummed out, it's kind of like, okay, well, let me transition and start doing something else. Go take the dogs for a walk, call a friend, work out. Whatever, just change your state like Tony Robbins talks about all the time. Just do something else. Or it could be as simple as honestly just being like, all right, it's time to decompress. I work my face off all day. Let's put on some Netflix stand-up comedy or something. Just anything just to make sure I'm not just going to sit there and think about it and wallow in it.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. What's helped me out too is just going on like long walks that I probably would have never gone on unless this really happened, and that really clears my mind, Yeah. And I was going to say too, like, knowing now, like all the experience that you have, like 20 years online, like, let's just say hypothetically, like this pandemic wiped your business out. And my hope is to give whoever's listening to this some confidence, some momentum and ideas. Like what would you do like step by step or even skill wise to kind of build your business back up?
Yeah, so that's I think this is a good reminder of why it is always important to have a lot of relationships, like always prioritize building relationships, because then you have that network, and it's cliche, but your network is your net worth. So you can always reach out to people. You've built up that goodwill bank account. There's always people that are going to be willing to help you. So in good times or bad times, always be building relationships and maintaining them. And then developing those skills, right? All those high income skills that I just talked about, you always want to do that so that you're always armed. So now if you have all those skills and talents that are indispensable, now you can reach out to other people. Like you're always going to have, something to fall back on. So that's what I would say is really those two things are essential, and really just work on that. And so for me, if I was out of business right now, and another thing that's always good to know about, because there's a few businesses and a few human desires that will always be recession proof. Like no matter what happens, people will always want to know how to build a better body, how to build a bigger bank account, and how to have better relationships, aka get laid, whatever that might be for you. So there's those three things that will always be indispensable. And we need to realize that the money didn't get sucked up into outer space or washed out to sea. Like the same amount of money is still here on the planet. You just need to figure out who has it and where you can go and get it. And like I said, those three things, if you know a decent amount about either of those three things or all three of those things, you'll always be able to find work somewhere. Because those industries will never, no matter what, people will always pay for those things. And then I even tell people in other industries, like some of my friends in Hollywood are hurting right now. They're like, man, there's nothing we can do. So I was like, well, look at those three industries. Can you create videos for those kinds of businesses? Like, those businesses will always have opportunities. So can you write sales copy? Can you write video scripts, whatever it might be? So, those are some ideas that come to mind.
Yeah, those are awesome, man. And it's like, it's funny because we've asked like 20 people this question, and not one person has said anything about like, going back to your network and, essentially that is your net worth. And it's so true. And it's like, you're the first person that said that. I'm like, finally someone says something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to wrap this up, Jason, so we've been asking all of our guests like this question, just like, what do you think like the big messages from the universe, from humanity, society, as to why this pandemic even happened?
Well, we fucked up the planet for so long, and it's just the planet's giving us, it's kind of putting us all in our room, and like, hey guys, sit there and think about it, and maybe figure out how to treat the planet and treat each other better when we come out.
Yeah. Right on, man. I agree with you. And I got to ask you really quick. I see the Jordan poster back there. Are you watching the documentary?
Oh, dude, that's the original Jordan poster. I've had that since '84. That was on my bedroom wall.
That's a dope poster.
Framed it for me, dude. The Last Dance has been the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So good.
Amazing.
So many takeaways, man. It's just been it's incredible.
So good. Yeah.
That's like the best thing that could happen during this pandemic.
I know, right? Yeah. The whole planet is watching it. Like all ESPN's talking about, every athlete's talking about it.
Yeah. So good. Well, cool, Jason. Is there anything, man, that we can support you on right now, and where can people connect that's listening to this?
I appreciate it. Nothing I can really think of. You can just go to my website is j.fit, jay.fit. RenegadeRadioPodcast.com, Instagram at @Ferruggia. That's it.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll have that all linked up in the show notes. Jason, thank you so much, man, for your time. Glad you're doing well. Appreciate it. And, stay up.
Likewise, man. All right, guys, until next time.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this video and another episode on pro tips on living a dynamic lifestyle. We truly appreciate it. Hope you got a lot of value out of it. If you're interested in getting more value like this from these pro tips, make sure to subscribe above. We're going to be dropping these daily. Also, if you are a fitness professional and you're looking to create more income, impact, influence, and independence, we just dropped our new book, Rise of the Fit Pros, so you guys can do all of that. You can also start building your hybrid training model with in-person and online training. So make sure to click the link or the book right here to grab your guys' copy, and we'll send it over to you. Other than that, we're out. Talk to you soon.